everyone, I'm Chirag and welcome to this video. In this video, I will cover how to do remote development using Visual Studio Code and EC2. For instance, while you are working on a big data engineering project or a data science project, you will need the hardware which is compute or memory optimized. You will need GPUs for model training depending on the type of the project. Now, most of the time, such hardware or configuration will not be available as a part of your local system. So for that reason, one can go for cloud computing or any on-premise virtual machine setup within the organization. However, in both the scenarios, you will take remote access to the VMs for development. Now, as a part of this video, we will consider Amazon EC2 as our remote virtual machine where we want to do the development. Now suppose we have an EC2 instance with Ubuntu or Linux as an operating system where we want to do the development. And here, as we know that we do not get any user interface or IDE setup to do the project development smoothly. And it will be really hard to use text editors like Vim or Nano for project development. Now to solve this problem, we can connect the IDE, and in this case it's going to be the Visual Studio Code, from the local machine to the remote instance for development via SSH on port 22. So as a part of this video, this is what we will set up. Now before we go ahead and set this up, please make sure that you have Visual Studio Code installed. As a next step, let's launch a dummy EC2 instance that will act as the remote server for the purpose of this video. So let's navigate to AWS Management Console and then let's navigate to EC2 Management Console. Now once you are within EC2 Management Console, click on Launch Instance. As a part of this, we need to enter few details to successfully launch an EC2 instance. First is the name, so I will say Remote Dev Server. As a part of the AMI, we are going to select Ubuntu, and from this drop down we will select Ubuntu Server 22.04, and then we will leave rest of the option as it is. Within instance type, for the purpose of this video, I am going to select t2.micro. As a part of the key pair, I am going to select the existing key pair, but you can go ahead and create a new key pair if you don't have the existing one. So in my case, I am going to select remote-dev, and I have the spam file locally. Now as a part of the network settings, we are going to select create a new security group, and we will make sure that this option is checked, that is allow SSH traffic from anywhere. Now here from this drop down you can also select my IP, or you can restrict the access to your particular IP address. But for now I will select anywhere. Within storage we will keep it as 8 gigs and then we will click on launch instance. We have successfully launched the EC2 instance and now it is in running state. So I will quickly SSH into that instance just to check that I am able to connect to that instance. So for that I am going to copy this public IPv4 address and then I will open a terminal, and the command is SSH-I followed by the identity file. So in my case it's in the downloads directory with the name that is remote-dev.pem, followed by the username. Now since we have launched the EC2 instance with the Ubuntu operating system, the default username would be Ubuntu. Paste the IPv4 address that we have just copied and say enter. Type in yes. Now here as you can see we have successfully logged in into the EC2 instance that we have just launched. Okay, here we will create a directory. I will say mkdir remote work, and within that directory I will create one file that is main.py. Now we will close this connection. I will say exit. Okay, now since we have successfully launched the EC2 instance, we are going to open the Visual Studio Code. So here it is. And once you are within Visual Studio Code, we are going to install the extension. So to install the extension, click on this extension icon and search for SSH. And as soon as you search for SSH, it will display the results in this panel. So we have to select this first option or the first extension, that is remote-SSH, and the provider is Microsoft, and click on that and click on install. Now here we have installed this extension successfully. Now as a next step, you should be able to see this green icon on the bottom left corner. Okay, so as a next step, we are going to click on that which says open a remote window. Now as soon as you click on that icon, it will display a couple of options. Now here the first step is to configure the SSH file or the SSH configuration file. So for that, we are going to select the third option, that is open SSH configuration file. And here in my case, I will select this first file, that is user/srcecde.ssh/config. So I'm going to click on that and it will open a config file for us. Now if you are setting this up for the first time, this file might be empty for you. So let's make sure that it's empty as of now, and we will start from the beginning. So here we need to define a couple of options. So the first option is that we need to define the host, followed by the alias name that we want to give. So I will simply say remote dev, or I will say remote VM. Okay. Now once you define alias, you need to define the host name, you need to define the user, and then you need to provide the path of your identity file. So the first thing that you need to define is host name. So within host name, it's going to be your IPv4 public IP address of your EC2 instance. So in my case, it's this one, followed by the user with which we want to log in. Now since we have launched the Ubuntu operating system as a part of that VM, the default username would be Ubuntu, followed by the identity file. Now here you need to provide the path of your identity file. So in my case, it's /downloads followed by remote-dev.pem. Okay, so here we have successfully defined one host. Similarly, you can define multiple hosts as a part of this file. So let's define one more, and here I will change the alias name to, let's say, prod-vm, and then you need to define the respective host name, user, and the identity file. Okay, so this is how you can define multiple hosts as a part of the SSH config file. Now once you are done with the configuration or setting up your SSH config file, let's close this, and after that click on this green icon from the bottom left corner. And now here we are going to select the first option, that is connect to host, because we want to initiate the connection to our remote machine. Okay, now as soon as you click on that, it will list out all the hosts that you have defined as a part of your config file. Now in my case, I want to connect, or I want to do the remote development on this remote-VM host. So I'm going to select that, and then it will open a new window. And as you can see, it's opening the remote connection over here. You can see the status. Okay, let's maximize this. So now as you can see, we have successfully connected our Visual Studio Code with the remote machine. And now if you can see the status on the bottom left corner, so it says SSH:/remote-VM. It means that we are connected with the remote server, that is with the alias name of remote-VM. Also as a part of this terminal, if I do ls, then we should be able to see the directory that we have created as a first step, that is remote-work. And if I do ls remote-work directory, then we should be able to see main.py. Now apart from this, if you click on this button, that is open folder, it will list all the files and directories from the remote host. For the purpose of this video, we are going to open this remote-work directory. So I'm going to select that and click on OK. Click on yes, I trust the authors. Now it has opened the directory, that is remote-work, and within that directory we have this main.py that we have created earlier. Now let's save this file and let's open the terminal instance to execute this file. And we can say python3 main.py, and it should be able to execute on the remote machine. Okay. So guys, this is how you can do the remote development using Visual Studio Code and the EC2 instance, or on any remote machine. So guys, that's all I wanted to cover as a part of this video. Until that time, if you want me to do tutorial on any use case or service, then please leave them below and I will try my best to come up with the tutorial as soon as possible. And if you have any queries or comments, then again please leave them below, and don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel, and see you next time.